When Sir Ed Davey strode onto the Bournemouth stage this week, today, many expected another Lib Dem conference set piece, part jaunty, part worthy, with a smattering of stunts and sentimentality. What they got instead was a pitch of unexpected seriousness, not simply for a bigger parliamentary presence, but for the mantle of His Majesty's loyal opposition itself. That may sound implausible at first. It's something I've been talking about for a few months, and after all, the Lib Dems are fourth in the polls. Yet if we step back, the claim is not entirely fanciful. The Conservatives are visibly fracturing under Kemi Badenoch's useless leadership, uninspiring leadership, torn between appeasing Reform UK and holding on to the remnants of One Nation Toryism. Labour, meanwhile, is in government but hemorrhaging trust, perceived as managerial, uninspired and lacking vision. Into this vacuum steps Davey with an argument both cogent and bold that the Lib Dems can be the serious, responsible opposition that the country now craves, and possibly the next government, or at least part of a coalition government. Davey's speech was built around an audacious invitation. He called on millions of Conservatives, moderate, institution-minded, increasingly alienated by their party's populist turn, to help us save the country by joining the Lib Dems. Come, Conservative friends, he urged, help us win. That line matters. Unlike Badenoch, whose rhetoric often reduces to slogans, Davey pitched something larger, a coalition of decency, tolerance and competence. His message is not just anti-Farage, it's anti-Badenoch. It's pro-values, pro-institutions, pro-rule of law. And critics, of course, were quick to dismiss this as a cul-de-sac strategy. Sir John Curtis has already argued that Davey has maxed out his gains against the Tories. But there is a deeper truth. Politics is not only arithmetic, it is atmosphere, it is mood, and the mood today is one of voters recoiling from extremism, weary of Labour's managerialism, and searching for something recognisably British, fair, pragmatic and decent. In that space, Davey has found a voice more convincing than Badenoch's combative nationalism or Starmer's cautious technocracy. Is this enough to make the Lib Dems the official opposition by 2029? Much depends on Conservative fragmentation. If Reform continues to bleed support from Badenoch's right flank, Tory candidates could fall not just in marginal seats but in strongholds. Add to that the Lib Dems' growing municipal base, their Operation Leapfrog into constituencies where Labour and the Tories are both losing credibility, and the once implausible scenario of Davey overtaking the Conservatives in seat numbers begins to look conceivable. But there's another way in which the Dems could end up as His Majesty's opposition, and that is if the Tory party fragments before the general election, at which point the Tory party ceases to be the opposition party with the most votes, and that automatically goes to the Lib Dems. Because even if 20 Conservative MPs defected to Reform would not be in a position to take over the opposition, whatever its rhetoric and ambition might suggest. It would be the Lib Dems who received that honour. And I think that's very credible as a possibility. I think it's very credible. This wouldn't mean a Lib Dem majority government, even if they succeeded admirably in the polls at the general election, but it would mean a new political equilibrium. Labour in office perhaps, but compelled to bargain with a Lib Dem opposition that is serious, or a Lib Dem coalition that is serious, coherent, more in tune with the country's moderate centre than the splintered Tories. It could even mean a coalition in which the Lib Dems, if they prove themselves competent over 4 years, supply not just ballast, but leadership. The test for Davey is time. 4 years is both a gift and a trap. A gift because it allows him to demonstrate competence on careers, on the NHS, on Europe, on the environment. A trap because the memory of coalition scars still lingers, and stunts alone will not sustain a party on the march. If Davey is serious about seizing the mantle of opposition, he must shift from protest to programme, from criticism to vision. And after this week, I find myself convinced of one thing. He is ready to make that attempt. He is clearer, more disciplined, and frankly, more credible than Badenoch. More than that, he speaks credibly in the House of Commons. He is there with the fellow who leads the SNP. His name has just gone out of my mind. Who can speak without notes, who knows what he's saying, unlike Badenoch, who clings to her paper as if it's some sort of totem. And then, even then, she doesn't get it right. I think he knows where his voters are, and he knows how to speak to them, and he's not afraid to plant the flag of moderation at a time when moderation itself feels radical. If the Conservatives collapse into factionalism, and there's every sign that they will, the Lib Dems have a chance, perhaps their only chance in a century, to vault into second place. It would be extraordinary, it would be historic. And demonstrating that they could be a coherent opposition, they also demonstrate that they could be a government in waiting in some form. British politics is ripe for such an upset. Somebody was saying to me the other day, or somebody was saying in the comment section, that I pin all my hope on the destruction of reform, on the survival of Corbyn's adventure with Sultana. I don't. I pin my hopes on the emergence of a proper Liberal Democrat party. And my only caveat over the last few months has been that I didn't think Ed Davey had it in him to lead his party into a major position in politics, into either the opposition or indeed into government. I'm changing my mind. I had thought that his association with the Horizon Software scandal tarred him to such a point that he couldn't really be taken seriously. Today I changed my mind. I put that on record. British politics needs to change. Ed Davey could be the person to do that. He has made his pitch. The question is whether the country will take him up on it. And I think they probably will.